Welcome to Rise and Grind with Arista Consulting Group, a show that helps lead you to financial security. I'm Amy Mulvane, an account executive here at Arista Consulting Group, and today I have with me Toby Anderson, our financial planner. Welcome,
Morning,
Toby.
Amy. Morning.
As you can see, we are still social distancing and we're still working from home, and we are starting our 8th month of the calendar year. So today's episode is going to kind of recap some of the craziness we've all been experiencing and talk about the Q2 market results. So it's hard to believe that we're starting the 8th month of the year, and this is now the 5th month of this pandemic. So I don't think any of us thought back on March 13th when we were told to work remote that this would still be our environment, right?
100%. I expected about 2, maybe 3 weeks, and here we are still plugging away 5 months later.
Still plugging away. Now, the thing is I've heard 2020 be referred to as Stranger Things because stranger things just keep happening on. And that includes kind of the market volatility. But what we want to reassure our clients of is the fact that it's okay, right? That investing, especially for your retirement plan, is for the long haul. So things this year are just going to keep getting a little stranger, I think, before they get back to normal. And we're going to end the year with an election, which is going to also add some dynamics to the market. So
you think?
I want you to open it up and just kind of give us a recap of where we've been in the markets Q1 and where we landed Q2 and what you see going into Q3.
All right. Well, thanks, Amy. Yeah. Stranger things is a very appropriate term. Things in the market have probably never been stranger at certain times. So I'm going to take just a few minutes. I'm going to share my screen here with everybody and show you just a couple of slides if I can. So hold on one sec while I get this ready. All right. So when you look at the market, and what this slide shows how different things can be in a very short period of time, right? You look at the first quarter there at the bottom. Everything's negative. It didn't matter almost what you were doing unless you were sitting in cash or just U.S. bonds. Things got hit hard and they got hit fast. Q2 was almost the exact opposite, but everything, the pandemic was still going on. Nothing really changed, but all of a sudden the market just got a little bit more confident that, the world wasn't going to actually come to an end. It was just going to look a little different. Like Amy, you mentioned earlier, we kind of started this year, everything's good. Coming into 2020, it's going to be a great year. The market's doing good. We're plugging away. And then all of a sudden, right at the end of February, pandemic comes, and look at the sharp decline there in those numbers. And what I want to show you is look at the dates. February 20th through March 23rd, we saw a 34% drop in the S&P. That's a 4-week period. That stranger things had never happened in the market. That's the sharpest decline in the shortest period of time. But then, all of a sudden, March 24th comes around and people start feeling like, well, this is bad, but I don't think the world's going to come to an end. I don't think the zombies are actually going to come. We're just going to kind of slowly figure this out. And the market started doing better, and the point here is, this is a fairly short period of time, but as an investor, especially with your retirement, I just encourage you to maintain that long-term focus. Don't make any rash decisions based on a very short period of time, right? Your retirement is a long-term goal. Whether you're 20 years or 5 years, you still can't make rash decisions. Otherwise you can miss out on some very, very sharp upturns, which is what happened, fortunately, in the second quarter. I mean, anyone that looked at their retirement plan at the end of the first quarter probably wanted to burn it, throw up, and, start over. But at the end of the second quarter, big sigh of relief. Everything's going to be okay, and we're plugging away. All right. So you mentioned outlook, and I don't want to step on a can of worms here, but let's softly delve into politics because there is an election coming up. People tend to have quite a opinionated point of view based on their political leanings, and that's okay. And honestly, as far as the market concerned, it is okay this all just shows different scenarios of who's in the White House, who's in the Senate, who's in the House. And in general, the market really doesn't care. It just kind of shrugs it off, focuses on the fundamentals, and keeps plugging away. So we're going to hear rhetoric every single day until the election happens. But don't let that distract you from your long-term goals. Don't let that make you think, oh, I shouldn't be in the market because my guy might not win, whoever your guy is, or the Senate or whatever's going to change. Stay focused on the long term. Don't get distracted in the short term. Ask for some advice. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, this is what worries me. But don't get distracted and think, the world's coming to an end. I need to, start putting cash underneath my mattress. That's probably a little bit of overkill. Go ahead.
That's a great point. I was just going to say, I've heard so many people say, and I hope that they're joking, but I have heard so many people say, if this candidate wins, I'm pulling all my money out and putting it underneath my mattress. So we want to make sure that the people watching our video understand, do not do that.
Do not do that. And this last show shows you why, right? I mean, if you're within a couple of years of retirement, that is a little bit different. Certainly reach out and seek some advice for your specific situation. But this last chart shows what happens in the market. If you're in a balanced portfolio, which is what you should be in your retirement plan, just look at the numbers. If you're, any 3-year period, starting there in the middle, 92% of the time you would have made money in a balanced portfolio. Go out to 5 years and it's 99. And I think that 1% was like a 1% drop. So you barely missed out. And then look in 10, 20 years, you've 100% of the time made money being in a balanced portfolio with a long-term perspective, not making emotional decisions along the way. So I'm going to stop sharing and just, ask you, turn it back to you. How do you want to wrap this up? Any final thoughts you have for everybody?
Yeah, one thing that's important, I think, to reiterate is timing the market is almost impossible.
It is.
We don't have a crystal ball, and anyone that tells you that they do, they're misleading you. So we need to make sure that everyone understands that retirement savings is for the long term, and that as an employee of the school system that Arista supports, you have access to Toby as a financial planner. So if you have specific questions regarding the market or what you should do with your portfolio as far as changing the diversification based on your risk tolerance, or just things that are happening in your life, please reach out to Arista. Please reach out to Toby directly. Reach out to me.
Just so everybody knows, it doesn't cost you anything to do that. There's a link at the bottom of this, of the email that came out that's got a link to my calendar. Schedule 15, 20 minutes. We can talk about whatever it is, your allocation. If you have an old retirement account you don't know what to do with, or anything else, please reach out. Don't try to do it all on your own. Seek some advice, because we are 100% here to help you. And like Amy started with, our mission is to lead people to financial security, and whatever we can do to help you take that next step, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, everybody should have the opportunity to have financial advice. So please take advantage of it. I remember at the beginning of the year with the new decade, a lot of the slogans for corporations was 2020, seeing 2020, a new vision. And then the joke now is, we never saw this coming, right? So it definitely snuck up to us, but the people that have been investing long-term and they've been continuing the course, they haven't been rocked by this. So the biggest takeaway is, don't try to time the market. Seek financial advice. Don't be afraid to ask. It doesn't mean that you're not intelligent. This is a complicated process, but Arista is here to support you. So with that, as a reminder, Arista is here to lead you to financial security, and it's been a pleasure to be with you today.
Thanks, Amy.